name is Jeremy Wade and I am your Canadian Reef Master. Today I'm going to do a tour of my Reef Master Gallery in Vancouver, British Columbia before I make some major changes to it. We're going to have a look at my 15-gallon tank, my beta breeding project, as well as my red Sea Reefer 250. We're going to see how it's doing after 3 years of growth. It's looking absolutely spectacular and I'm excited to share it with you. Now, if you like my videos and have seen some of them, and if you have not, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that notification button so you know when I post new videos. Also, hit the like button so I know that you're enjoying my videos. It also helps me out greatly. Now, let's get to the tour. One of the most difficult things about the aquarium hobby in a large city such as Vancouver is that it's really difficult to find a space to have aquariums in. I was fortunate enough to be able to find a 2-bedroom space where I could convert 1 bedroom into my reef gallery. And I think after a few years it looks absolutely beautiful. The tanks are spectacular and I'm very happy with how it looks. Now I'm making changes to my life, so we're going to do a tour of my reef room before I take it down. Now, I hope you enjoy. We're going to start with the 15-gallon tank. My 15-gallon tank was originally a 10-gallon budget nano tank. It was very basic with a simple hang-on filter and a simple light. Over the years, I added simple coral that were $5 to $20 and it turned into a magnificent small nano tank, demonstrating that you can do a reef tank on a budget. You can see videos about my budget 10-gallon nano reef tank on my channel. Make sure that you like and comment on those videos when you check them out. The tank has had many beautiful inhabitants. Most are soft corals that have grown very well as a very few hard corals such as an acropora that seems to like the tank very well. I've had many beautiful fish such as the lawnmower blenny that was quite enjoyable here, as well as the Valentini puffer, which I absolutely adored. Unfortunately, he went surfing on the floor. About 6 months ago, I transferred the content of the 10 gallons into a 15-gallon tank and removed the sand. I turned this tank into a simple frag tank so that I could hold the frags that I had overflown from my red Sea Reefer 250. Because this tank is very simple, with a couple of power heads, some live rock, and a small canister filter, there is no protein skimmer. Therefore, protein often builds up in the tank and other organic wastes or particulate. By raising the power head out of the water in the main display tank, you're able to create foam. Then place some filter media around this power head. It will collect the large particulate matter as well as different organics that have aggregated on the surface of the water. It is very effective and helps keep the budget very low. I tend to do this every 2 weeks. As you can see here, I've had quite a dirty tank as I've neglected it a little bit, and I've started to clean the algae. You can see how effective this method is in removing the large particulate algae as well as the different proteins on the surface of the water. I do this for about 15 minutes and I'm able to eliminate the necessity of a protein skimmer on a smaller, simplified tank. The tank looks absolutely pristine following this and is ready to show my guests. We'll now move on to my beta breeding project and see how my freshwater tanks are doing. Because my reef tanks are quite high-tech, I like to keep some low-tech aquariums as well. I keep different jar aquariums that have labyrinth fish in them, as well as do my beta breeding project. It's been quite successful over the past few years, as I've had 8 different batches of fry and been able to successfully raise over 100 fry. This is the male half-moon plaquette beta that I use to do the breeding, and this one here is the female. They had quite beautiful markings and they were very easy to breed as they took a liking to one another. In the early stage of the breeding project, I was feeding the fish too much, and I realized that I was causing their swim bladder to not be able to form. Therefore, I cut down my feeding to 2 smaller feedings a day and was able to correct this and got some beautiful offspring from this couple. And of course, I do have to keep a few betas from each set of fry. Here's one of the male betas that I kept from the first batch. It is about a year old. And here is one of its sisters. It is a beautiful female and has gone through a number of transitions from blue to red to black. I'm quite enjoying the last year of coloration changes. Here is a koi beta that I have. It's quite marbled. This one has changed colors as well and has started to develop the red coloration. We'll now move on to the other tank that I do have on display. This is a very simple planted tank with some beautiful different rainbow fish, shrimp, a coolie loach, a goby, and some other interesting inhabitants. You can see a video of me setting up this beautiful planted tank on YouTube on my channel. Check it out and don't forget to like and comment on it. Even though this is a very small 6-gallon tank, you can see how active it is and how many beautiful fish are in it, as well as the different shrimp that I've added to the tank. These shrimp are now breeding in the tank and I'm starting to see little babies pop up. I had some yellow, blue, red, and orange shrimp that I added to the tank. There is also this awesome goby that I added to the tank and had thought that he had gone missing. Now that we have toured through my 15-gallon and my freshwater tanks, we're going to have a look at my magnificent Red Sea Reefer 250. After 3 years of growth, it is looking absolutely stunning. And of course, if you would like to see how I'm running this tank, the different supplements and different equipment that I'm using, check out my YouTube channel and see some of my other videos. Today, we'll focus on the livestock that I have been growing over the past few years. This is a true mixed reef with LPS, SPS, and soft coral. I keep the fish inhabitants to a minimal in my reef aquariums, enough to feed the coral, however, not enough to overwhelm them with nutrients. I keep the purple tang, 2 Bangate cardinals, a mandarin goby, and a clownfish. However, I don't really like my clownfish, and nor does he like me. Here you see the reef in its early days, where it dominated by LPS coral. I had not yet added too many acropora. However, you do see the Joker acropora in the center of the tank, as well as my Miyagi tort, which is a little bit too difficult to see due to the lighting and the coloration of the coral. The LPS coral have grown over the years, and I've added to my collection. You see how vast some of the coral have grown from single polyps. Many of these videos are filmed over an hour and some even over 2 hours. As with still photos, we may miss this amazing dynamic movement that these corals do have. Although I find coral photography stunning, I do find that hyperlapse videos really truly show off a coral in all its magnificent forms, as they are very dynamic in their shapes and structures from night to day. We also see magnificent feeding displays as corals open and close during the day and night to capture food particles from the water, such as the Scalemia coral, Homophilia australis, and the Bowerbanki, Homophilia bowerbanki in the back. And one of the most important things that I recommend for LPS coral is to feed them regularly, at least 2 to 3 times a week, some meaty food such as mysis, plankton, or even some LPS pellet food such as the Vitalis LPS pellet food that I use. Some of my coral, however, do not like the pellet food and will only take mysis. When you have new coral or coral is damaged or ill, it is important that they have proper nutrition to allow them to heal and build new tissue. When this Cyanarina coral fell ill last year, I provided it a robust nutrition of pellets as well as mysis, which allowed it to heal. My Trachyphilia brain coral have added multiple lobes, and my Scalemia coral have grown significantly. The Bowerbanki coral have also grown multiple polyps. You can see the pink lobophilia in the back there. These coral like a lower par lighting that generally has a bluer wavelength. These Micromusa lordhowensis have grown from single polyps and are active feeders each night. Many corals, such as this Hydnophora and the torch coral or the frog spawn corals, the Philia or the Fimbriphiliae species, must be kept separate as they do a lot of damage to one another. These torch corals have grown from single polyps and are absolutely stunning as they move in the currents. I keep my Euphilia, the torch corals, and my Fimbriphiliae, the frog spawn and hammer corals, separated in the tank. The largest coral in the tank is my elegance coral. It is a blue tip green elegance from Australia. This coral is very large with a span of over 1.5 feet in the tank, and I've had to actually bury it off at the back of the tank. Here's my beautiful green toxic candy cane coral feeding, and my beautiful Recordia yuma and Recordia florida. As you move from the bottom of the tank, you see the SPS acropora dominate the upper portion of the tank. These corals show the true magnificence of nature's architecture in a vivid symphony of color. One of my favorite views in the reef tank is looking in through the side of the tank. At the front panel, it gives a beautiful reflection of all the inhabitants in the reef tank and truly gives you the perception that you're underwater. When I choose my acropora coral, I tend to not choose them for the fancy names. I choose them for the contrasting colors to allow my tank to give the most contrast against other coral that I have in the tank. This way, it makes the tank more interesting. And there are many coral that are quite cheap that are very hardy and look absolutely stunning. Here are my Bangay cardinals hanging out in front of the acropora that I got from a local reefer. You can again see that video on my YouTube channel, and don't forget to like and comment on it. These acropora are doing absolutely exceptional in the tank and have been encrusting over the rock very well. Here you see my beautiful rainbow loom acropora encrusting over the rock and getting its purpley pink tips, as well as some other acropora that are absolutely stunning. A very hardy coral for acropora is the red planet. This one got a little bit burnt by the Fimbriphiliae below it. A really great acropora for height, contrast in color, and shape is the staghorn acropora. They always tower over other acropora in the tank and look absolutely amazing. The past 3 years has been an absolutely amazing journey with this reef aquarium. It is absolutely a stunning piece of art, and I'm very pleased with how it has turned out. I have always said that the aquarium hobby is part of my daily therapy, as this reef aquarium brings me great peace and a sense of joy each day. It allows me to connect with my friends, my family, and my community, as well as hobbyists from all around the world through interactions on social media such as Instagram and YouTube. One of the most important pieces of advice I may give for a new reef aquarium hobbyist is to be patient and not make impulse buys. Always discuss your art of reefing with a local reefer that has many years of experience. I hope you've all enjoyed checking out my Reef Master Gallery in Vancouver, British Columbia. I've had an amazing time setting it up and looking after it. The coral and fish are absolutely spectacular. Now we've looked at the red Sea Reefer 250 and how beautiful the coral are, some of the mature acropora colonies and the giant elegance coral. We've had a look at my 15-gallon tank that contains some of my torches and my hammer corals, as well as my beta breeding project. There are big changes coming and I have to start taking down this room, but don't worry, you're gonna have new projects and new things to see in the future. So make sure that you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button so you know when I post. Also, you're on vacation this summer, so make sure you check out some of my other videos on my channel and hit the like buttons. Thank you for all joining me as we take one last look at my reef gallery in Vancouver, British Columbia.